Yeah, hello, good evening. My name is Olu Akonde. This is a history class I've enjoyed so much. Enjoyed the discussion, enjoyed the topic being awarded to me. The topic that I'm talking about today says recognition and management of PTSD and combat related stress reaction. Once again, recognition and management of PTSD and combat related stress reaction. Uh, Before I go forward, I'm going to talk about what PTSD actually means. PTSD means post traumatic syndrome disorder. Post traumatic syndrome disorder. And also, we all know the combat related stress reaction. Combat related stress reaction. Those are the things soldiers might be dealing with after they being deployed or being away in the hot zone for a while. And I kind of have a picture right here to demonstrate how it actually looks like. Imagine somebody that have been to the deployment to the hot zone and come back home. They probably need some time to be able to adjust to the normal life they've been living before. And I have this a face of a human being, whereas one part of the face is thinking about military stuff, is thinking about a lot of things going in the military, about the duties. Maybe he's a medic, wherever the duty is able to think about it with 50% of his presence or of his system, and is able to coordinate. But the other part could still remember everything that happens in the deployment. You could see the chopper flying around. Maybe when they are trying to get medevac and getting casualties into the medevac. You could still remember some dangerous things that actually happened. People that died. When they were fighting for the nations. People that died at deployment at the hot zone. People that get injured. So because of this, he's not able to coordinate totally. This is the kind of description of what we mean by post-traumatic stress disorder, because you can still remember what is going on or what has gone wrong or right over there at the deployment. So you're trying to coordinate with what happened in the real life. And that is the reason why some people come back from deployment and they find it difficult, to relate with people. They need some time to relax. They need some counseling and to be able to live a normal life. The first things I'll go into now is the priority of a military. Anybody that go to the hot zone, being Afghanistan, being Iran, from what I've experienced and from what friends and experience, the real life experience, uh, the priority is for us to fight, is for us to win, and it's for us everybody to return home safely. Some in some situation, true return home with no physical injury, but I bet you there are some things I call the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. No physical injury. You could see that at the top. You could see that, oh, this person is still normal. But in his or her mind, a lot of things has gone wrong. There are some injury that's done into his heart and into his emotion. You talk of emotional sickness. You talk of inability to stay focused, which we're still going to discuss further later. But so you see, no injury. It doesn't mean that there's no injury. There are a lot of things that might have gone wrong, from PTSD to TBI. TBI is called traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury. You might not even be in the military vehicle when the blast occur, but just because you are very close and because of the capacity or because of the velocity of the blast and the shaking of the ground and everything around that area, some of those things actually affect brain, and it might not have a short term effect, but the future effect is there to deal with. And I'm going to talk about polytrauma. That happens when you have a lot of blast events occurring in deployment. It's a multiple body system. It happens to multiple body system. You never know what blast has already caused. It goes a long way sometimes, and that is why a lot of people and everybody that goes to deployment need to be looked at when they come back from deployment. It's called polytrauma. It's a symptoms to injuries to multiple body system, and that is why I call it tip of the iceberg. Some things are like chronic pain that you never see with people. It's not like when you have amputation at the deployment through a blast, that one could be easily seen. But things like chronic pain, the soldiers could actually felt it. The post-traumatic stress disorder, which is we're talking about today as PTSD, you might not easily see that until you get close or until you probably know how the person behaved before deployment, and excuse me, and you finally see that no, this is not how this person is before deployment. We'll go forward because of my time. What does the scholar says about this? I have Jay Harrison in the management of PTSD military original paper established that military are required to deploy to hostile environments where there is high risk of being exposed to traumatic activities that can lead to a traumatic brain injury. Everybody in military, if you want to have a good career, you have to be deployed. And most of those places are hostile environment that we can't say they are 100% safe. A lot of things are going on. So that is the first establishment that everybody in military have to be deployed. And as far as you are deployed, you're subjected to what we're talking about today, PTSD. You're subjected to combat-related stress reaction. You're subjected to things like that. Uh, what are the okay? Before we go to the effect, William J. in Strategies for Managing Stress After War mentioned that variety of psychiatric condition which can follow traumatic experience, and these have collectively been labeled as post-traumatic stress disorder. So there are some varieties of psychiatric condition that follow the traumatic experience, being it experience of a blast at the deployment. I have somebody I was speaking to that was in World War. Some of them are old now, in World War One, World War Two, and they tell us a lot of things that happens. And some of them are still experiencing ringing in the air. They're still remembering everything years back as if it happens just like yesterday. They still experience how they fight the enemy at the deployment. So some of those things might never leave your mind if we're not careful enough over a long period of time. Due to the event and deployment experience, troop might find it difficult most time to transitioning back into civilian life if it's not well managed. The situation has to be well managed. That is the key. Situation has to be well managed. If we want our soldiers to be able to behave normal as we're behaving before, though we might not get them back to 100% sometimes, but to get them back to this real civilian life, the situation has to be well managed. And how it is being managed, we have to consult the expert, the doctors. We have to send them to experts that will give them, let them know what they have to do. Okay, moving forward, this has been recognized as a chain effect. All right. So I call that chain effect right here because of what has happened in the war off there in the hot zone. If it's not well managed, it can result in a chain effect, and it might have a difficulties and inability to socialize to everybody in the society. and assessment and evaluation. So that is why the military have to go for assessment and evaluation. And there is something called, sorry for my slide here, is because I'm using the iComputer, kind of move my PDF, sorry, my PowerPoint around. We have what we call, the commander recommend the cognition behavior therapy is recommended initial critical approach to PTSD. So the first thing is the commander need to recommend to those people when they come back is the cognition behavior therapy. And there's another thing we call MACE, which is another evaluation done for the military to see where they are. And that is military acute concussion evaluation. Is one of the tools used to improve objectivity of assessment of PTSD. And in that way they'll be able to find out what is going on with their cognitive, the way they are thinking, the way they are able to solve problems, also the emotional and behavioral change after deployment. A lot of things like this can be, a life-threatening situation. So there's a scenario I have for a particular sergeant that went for deployment. He's an active duty in Iraq, but he experienced, when the Humvee actually get busted, experienced that the flame ignited ammunition in the vehicle, preventing him from rescuing his severely injured gunner and rear passenger. As a result of this, he has to watch them die. He was actually able to escape this after the blast, but he was just looking from the place of where he was hiding to see how everybody is getting. But because the military, the enemies are still in the area, he can only shoot from where he is. He couldn't just go there and rescue them. So because of this traumatic experience, he experienced a TB high when there was a blast before he was able to escape. And also looking at somebody dying in the flame, your barrel body is difficult to be able to hold that even after deployment. So it's really difficult for you to actually still hold that. Uh, so sometimes it's what you actually see, not what is actually affecting. It's what you see that actually keep ringing in your hair and you still remember everything. Signs and symptoms, quickly, I'm going to rush through these. Emotionally, there might be a kind of feeling frustration, experience mood swing, become fearful and have anxiety. I have somebody that I have to look back every time somebody is walking behind. Is somebody behind me? It kind of have that kind of orientation that, what happened in the deployment. Experience feeling of sadness and hopelessness. You may even have a nightmare flashback. So other signs of symptoms recognized with PTSD and also post-traumatic stress is the inability to focus or concentrate. That happens a lot. Making self-critical remark. That happens a lot. Increased alcohol use and other substances, trying to cover up what has happened, the combat-related experience. You're trying to fade it out, but whereas that is not the solution to the problem. Irritability and anger, outbursts, excessive fear and worry. And that is why many people come back and unable to live with the family. Depression, apathy, loss of appetite, problems sleeping, because you could not sleep because you keep remembering everything that happens at the deployment. And I have 4 things right here, which are after constructing some experts in the medical field. This has been established. Attend to your health. Stress can be important signal of our anxiety of our body. It is important to stop attending to body's need by eating right, exercising, and getting adequate rest. Which take me to my next point. You have to be resting, reaching out for help to experts. They are trained experts out there. Doctors are there. Precise relations technique. Relaxation techniques is also there. So in my opinion, with adequate preparation, recognition, good unit cohesion and support, the effect of traumatic experience and the video can be greatly minimized. So we can minimize all these if we actually attend to it properly. If you consult the expert that will be able to help, Doctors are there,